this time due to the arrival of two striking individuals. They were siblings, the taller one introduced as Abad Llewellyn, a 16-year-old from the prestigious Llewellyn family, and beside him stood his younger sister, Chelsea Llewellyn, 14, who also carried the same family name. While Leo remained clueless about their identities, Celia's expression immediately turned tense. She recognized them right away and explained to Leo that they were the Llewellyn siblings, descendants of a legendary bloodline tied to the Lordran Empire children of the renowned Llewellyn family. Celia's mood grew increasingly fiery, not out of admiration, but irritation. She wasn't happy to see them at all. She warned Leo that the Llewellyn siblings would also be taking part in the upcoming exam, and for her, that meant one thing: they absolutely couldn't afford to lose. There was no way she was going to let the Zerdinger clan be outdone by the Lan family. Leo, however, remained indifferent. He didn't share Celia's personal rivalry. After all, he was from the Plav family, not Zerdinger, so the feud meant little to him. When the siblings approached and greeted Celia, she responded with formal courtesy, giving them no reason to complain, though her tone was far from warm. She also took the opportunity to introduce Leo, mentioning that he hailed from House Plav, a noble family within the kingdom of Dad. Hearing that Leo didn't carry any grand title or rank, Abad Llewellyn casually dismissed him as someone unimportant. Without further words, the siblings turned on their heels, arrogantly tossing out a final remark that they would certainly be taking the top spot in the exam. Celia scowled, clearly not fond of the Llewellyn siblings' smug attitude. It was obvious she was eager to defeat them in the upcoming trial. Suddenly, attention was drawn to a new presence stepping onto the podium, a man who immediately commanded the respect of everyone present. He introduced himself as Albi Zeron, a professor at the prestigious Lumen Academy. While Celia's expression changed to one of surprise upon seeing such a renowned figure, Leo remained mostly unimpressed. He simply had no idea who the man was. Celia, mildly exasperated by Leo's ignorance, took the chance to inform him that Albi Zeron was no ordinary instructor. He was listed in the hero record, a revered registry of individuals recognized as heroes of the current era. Leo observed the professor with more focus now and noticed something unusual, an immense concentration of mana radiating from the professor's left eye. Without wasting time, Professor Albi began addressing the group of gathered students. He introduced the format of the entrance examination, stating that it would involve two core components: one-on-one combat and monster subjugation. Traditionally, these tasks were carried out in turns, one after another. However, the professor quickly dismissed that idea. He called such methods tedious and made his point in dramatic fashion, burning the very exam schedule he held in his hands. With a flash, the paper was reduced to ash and everyone was left in stunned silence. Without pausing, Albi pulled out a thick, ancient-looking book. As he opened it, the first chapter was revealed. Prologue, The Wild Forest. In that instant, a massive enchantment circle lit up beneath the feet of every student present. The scene was now set, yet not a single student had any idea what the professor planned to do next. One thing quickly became crystal clear to everyone present: Albi Zeron despised inefficiency. Without mincing words, the professor declared that he would merge all the trials into one seamless challenge, eliminating the traditional structure altogether. The examination would proceed as a single, continuous ordeal, designed to test every aspect of a candidate in real time. To truly understand what was happening, it was important to recognize the deeper meaning behind the hero record. Contrary to common belief, it wasn't merely a historical archive. Its true power lay in its ability to manifest the hero's world, a realm built from the memories and experiences of past heroes. Within this realm, those who entered could inherit the abilities of their predecessors. In essence, it served as a hero training system, one that allowed individuals to walk the same path forged by legends. The students soon realized that they had been transported into one such realm, the Wild Forest. Albi Zeron made the rules of this trial painfully simple. Their only objective was survival. Whether they chose to work together or eliminate one another, the choice was theirs. The only way to forfeit was to crush the magical orb in their possession, which would return them to the real world. There were no other conditions, just survive. After taking a few moments to observe his surroundings, Leo recognized the location almost immediately. The forest looked exactly as he remembered it. This place, once an elven forest, had long ago fallen under the rule of the infamous witch queen Salatna. While some students grew anxious and wanted to quit, assuming the place was just an illusion, Leo did not share their doubts. As far as he could tell, even if this world was formed from someone's memories, everything that happened here was real. The dangers weren't fake. The threats could actually kill them if they weren't careful. It didn't take long before danger found Leo. He suddenly sensed a presence and, before he could react, an arrow struck the ground beside him with explosive force, shattering the earth. Fortunately, he dodged just in time. When he turned toward the direction the arrow had come from, he saw Chelsea Llewellyn, the younger sibling from the Llewellyn family. Chelsea had clearly mistaken him for a member of the Zerdinger clan, likely because she had seen him earlier with Celia. Not Zerdinger, but Chelsea remained unconvinced. She grew even more aggressive, certain he was lying. Without hesitation, she began casting a spell windle, a magic Leo had never encountered in his past life. As he watched her chant, he felt a flicker of admiration. Though the spell was new to him, the fundamental structure behind it wasn't unfamiliar. Still, he was impressed by the refined way she executed it. Chelsea, on the other hand, grew frustrated. Leo remained eerily calm in the face of her attack, which unnerved her. Determined to break his composure, she launched a powerful mana blade in his direction. But to her shock, Leo deflected it with a single, effortless swing of his sword. The mana dissipated harmlessly on impact. Chelsea was stunned. From her perspective, Leo hadn't even used aura, and yet he had neutralized her attack with ease. It didn't make sense. Leo, however, remained unbothered. In fact, he deepened the wound to her pride by casually stating that her attack had been far too simple. Then, to her surprise, he offered her an alliance. Leo calmly reminded Chelsea that forming an alliance would be in her best interest. He explained that the one who survived the longest in the hero's world would earn the most points. As a sorceress, he added, it might be wise for her to try passing at least one test before getting herself eliminated. His words stung, and there was no need to guess her reaction. Chelsea immediately fired back, visibly offended. She declared that she wasn't some typical sorcerer. She was a battle mage. His comment about her attack being simple clearly hit a nerve. Determined to prove she wasn't the weakling he seemed to think she was, she gathered her mana and launched a furious barrage of magical strikes meant to crush him on the spot. But her efforts amounted to nothing. None of her attacks landed. In fact, Leo wasn't even standing in the direction her mana blades were flying. Even more frustrating, Chelsea couldn't sense a trace of mana anywhere. Leo had completely disappeared from her perception. Then, in a sudden moment of clarity, her eyes locked onto his. Leo stood directly in front of her, his fist clenched and raised. The narrative didn't reveal whether the punch landed, but one thing was undeniable. Chelsea's knees buckled beneath her. The strength to stand left her body, a silent but decisive indicator of Leo's overwhelming dominance. Despite this, Leo reiterated his earlier offer. The invitation to form an alliance was still open, he told her, if she changed her mind. Before she could respond, the scene shifted to the faculty of Lumen Academy, who were watching the unfolding events through a digital window. Their interest had clearly been piqued. The battle was finally starting to heat up. Back in the wild forest, things weren't looking any better for Chelsea. She had now been tied to a tree trunk, and Leo's expression made it painfully clear that he wasn't feeling particularly merciful. As night began to fall, he casually built a small bonfire nearby. The flames crackled and intensified, slowly inching closer to the helpless girl.